Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I am Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing episodes 1 to 3 of Selling Sunset, season 8. But I know I promised that we would have Golden Bachelorette for you first. Unfortunately, here in Canada, we did not get the episode officially until yesterday. I'm recording this on a Tuesday. So I have started working on getting that done. But you probably won't be getting that. I'll try to see if I can get that to you Wednesday night. You'll be getting this Wednesday morning, but chances are I probably will not have it to you until Thursday. So that is the plan. Unfortunately, I saw the episode Wednesday, figured I can do my notes again later, watching it the second time around, realized that the episode wasn't available until Monday here in Canada. So that unfortunately left me having to do other shows. So Selling Sunset, we're going to do that. And then you'll have Golden Bachelorette next, and then we'll hop over to 90 Day, and that's what we'll do. And Sister Wives will potentially be in there somewhere as well, but we will see how that goes. But that's all I'm going to say here. We're not going to do any hot goss. There will be hot goss in the Bachelorette episode, though, so make sure you listen to that. And we'll have that over there. We're just going to do what we normally do with our Netflix binges. We're just going to go right into it. So, Selling Sunset, Season 8, Episode 1. The girls are back in town. So, we're at a house, as always, a random ass house with Chrishell and Jason and others. There's other people here too. And this house apparently has like a secret room that you have to like those old school rooms, you have to like move the book for the shelf to move. Yeah. And actually this one I think is a samurai sword is the thing you have to move to get into it. But then Jason and Chrishell talk, and Chrishell asks like whether or not Jason has talked to Bree, since the whole I want more commission conversation. He says no. And she also has not been at the office since that conversation. So we're going to see how that goes. In the next scene, we are at Mary's with Amanza and Nicole, and they're doing bronzer. Romaine goes in there too to do some bronzer, wearing a Speedo. Thank you so much, Romaine, for that visual. Keep it coming. But the dog in this scene is just like, these people. It's funny. But Amanza has a B-Day party coming up, and she has invited everyone to her party, but she's like, I don't know if anyone got them. Hello, is this thing on? Because no one has RSVP'd at this point to the party. Then we find out that now there is apparently some drama between Mary and Chelsea. So the gist of the drama between these two women is kind of similar to the drama between Hall and Kayla. Like, I mean, Mary's a much better person than Hall is, in my opinion. But Mary, honey, you didn't have to say any of this. Apparently, she was doing some sort of appearance, or she was doing some sort of Instagram thing, some social media thing, probably doing like a live or something. And their question was asked about who they thought or who Mary thought is like the pot stirrer, the shit starter. And she said Chelsea. Now, I agree. I agree that Chelsea is the person who stirs the pot. Like, she created this stupid drama with Bree. Listen, we don't have to agree with Bree's choices on the men she decides to have a child with. Okay. Um, I wouldn't make that decision with a man who has, like, I don't know, 100 other kids. I wouldn't do that, but that is a choice that she made. That is the choice she entered into. Con- she consented to it. And whatever the dynamics of their relationship is with Nick is between her and Nick. I don't care. I'm not sleeping with Nick. I don't care to sleep with Nick. Because I don't want to give him like his 300th child. But that's me. And that might be Chelsea and that's okay. But that doesn't mean that that doesn't work for Brie. Brie comes across as the kind of woman that wants a man there sometimes and also wants her independence. If it works for her, it works for her. I mean, power to her, honestly. So, like, this is the kind of person that Chelsea is. And we need that in this show. But in reality, like, that's not a great thing. And I do believe Chelsea is a pot stirrer. And that's the thing, she thinks that everyone else is, like, she thinks her shit don't stink. That's basically what it comes down to, and it's just like, I agree with Mary. Now, would I have done that on a live or something where she's gonna see it? No. But to each their own. So then what happened is, well, what you're gonna have is someone coming at you to say, "Keep my name out your fucking mouth," and that is what she said to Mary. I wouldn't expect anything less. If you're gonna talk my name, well, then deal with the repercussions of talking my name. And of course, that created more drama. And Romaine actually got involved and said, "Don't talk to my wife that way." And it's just obviously made matters worse. So, I mean, again, like I said, not a good look, Mary, to even have that even. You should have just pled the fifth kind of thing so that you weren't going to deal with the repercussions of your decision. But you didn't. So that's what's gonna happen. Like, I don't know what she expected. Like, did she expect that Chelsea wouldn't come at her? I don't know. So that's kind of what's going on there. Then we are in the new office, y'all. The new office officially. We didn't get to, really live in it last season because it was being, done. But now we're in it. And there's a fireplace just sitting there behind Jason and Brett. Like, it's a quote unquote, like, fireplace. I don't think it's a real fireplace. Anyway, then we meet the new real estate agent that's added to the O group, and her name is Alanna. She is 32 years old, and that's the gist of that. I did catch at a later point that she's Canadian. Welcome to yeah. She seems pretty cool. I haven't seen enough of her yet to see if she is going to be a pop star or just kind of stick to herself. But she seems cool enough so far. As I've watched only 3 episodes, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe I will regret that, but we'll see. So we are in the office again, and we have a client coming in with a $30 million listing in Manhattan Beach. And Chelsea is gunning for it because she does live in Manhattan Beach. So she thinks that she has that going for her. But of course, everyone wants a piece of the pie. Mary wants a piece of that pie because she used to live in Manhattan Beach. So she has that kind of going for her. And Alanna, the newbie, she's not new. She does have experience in the real estate, but she's new to the O group. And she says that she also wants to have a piece of the pie. So basically, they're going to be setting up 3 separate pitches of each of these women to pitch themselves to the new client. So that's what's going to happen there. So we'll get back to that in a little bit. So then we are with Bree. And she, as we know, hasn't been back with the O group. And she's going to be meeting up with Jason to maybe, I guess, convince her to come back. And he says straight up, I want you back. And she doesn't know if she can because, of the bullshit in the office with Chelsea. And then also the money. She wants a better percentage, as we know. And he says straight up, or I think she says first before I get to him, like she can sell anywhere. She doesn't have to sell with the O group, or she can get a better percentage. And he's like, what can I do to convince you to come back? Like, I'll do anything. Okay, can you increase that commission percentage? And he's like, I'll do anything but that. And he does make a good point. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with the percentage, especially if like that's not the norm in other brokerages, but at the end of the day, he has a point. He's like, I have like 70 something agents that work under me. If I change your commission, everyone else is going to want to have their commission changed as well. Like I can't do for one, but not do for the others. And she's like, well, you could just do it for mine and I won't tell anybody. Are you kidding? If like Geo were to get wind that one of the agents has a better commission percentage than he does, good luck. Because he will definitely want his percentage increased. Yeah. So, but she says in the end of the day, like the commission, yes, that sucks. But the biggest deal breaker for her is Chelsea. Because Chelsea doesn't know how to stay in her lane. And I get that. Don't come for Brie. Brie is like the best part of the show. For me, anyway. I like Chrishell, but like I really feel like Chrishell has not taken as much of a forefront in the last few seasons. And Brie is kind of it for me. Give Brie everything. I'm serious. So we're at the house with Chelsea. Mary and Alanna, of course, are going separate times. Um, Alanna came with wine. She gave them wine as a gift, like, let me like sell myself to you, and here's a bottle of wine. um, but the ladies are definitely pitching, and we kind of see the couple is powwowing by themselves, and they kind of seem more interested in Mary over everyone else, initially, anyways. And Chelsea is eavesdropping on their conversation, which I feel like, I mean, it's not necessarily unethical because, or against any rules because they haven't picked anybody yet, but it's like, you've done your part, as did these other two women, and leave them to now discuss what they want to do, because at the end of the day, this is their house, this is their property. They should be able to do whatever they want to do. You eavesdropping seems really gross to me. Like, you're so desperate. That's what it feels like. Like, I understand like she wants this because she lives there, she's passionate about it, and I hear all that, but it was the eavesdropping for me that I'm like, ew. Like, why are you doing that? So with her going and eavesdropping, she's like, oh, I gotta get in there and I gotta fix this. So she goes back in to sell herself just a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I think in her mind, she thought, okay, they're more leaning towards Mary. Let me get in there and make sure that it's them, that I'm the one they're going to pick. Like, she went in there with the thought of, it's going to be me. And that's what I want it to be. I just want it to be me. And they're not going to pick Mary. But Chelsea went and gone screwed herself, because they see you're passionate, but they also really want Mary. They want the best of the both worlds. So what happens? They're going to be doing a co-listing between Chelsea and Mary. And of course, Chelsea's like, I can do this by myself. Well, I'm sure Mary can also do this by herself. I'm sure she would rather not co-list with you, and she will say that later on, that she's never really co-listed with anyone else in the office besides Jason, so she doesn't really wanna co-list either, but Chelsea gone and screwed herself, so deal with that. Sorry. Like, they were never gonna just pick you. They always wanted Mary, though. But you slide in there thinking that you're going to get, like, the you're gonna get the whole damn pie, and instead you just got the piece of the pie. And yeah. So, that's basically that with episode 1. So we're gonna be seeing the drama unfold even more with these 2 women being on co-listing. But that is it for episode 1. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we will be right back to do episode 2. And I am back. So let's jump in with episode 2 of Selling Sunset, called Who Wears the Pants? Not Chelsea. So let's get into it. We are at Chrishell's house, and with who we're with? Bree. We're with Bree. And they're going to be doing an ice bath. There's these 2 ice baths near her pool, Chrishell's pool, that they're going to be dunking themselves into. Chrishell is not about it. And it's funny, I watched this episode, I think I started this Sunday, finished it Monday. And for those people who watch Mama's Boy, literally Kathy and Matt did the exact same thing, except a little different, but I'm like, is this like a thing in California where you just do ice baths? But anyway, so apparently, oh, Chrishell, sweet baby Chrishell, she's like, the ice bath is like -0. Okay. Um, like I always say, I'm no mathematician, but 0 can't be a negative nor a positive. It's just 0. I'm just saying, like, that's what I learned when we learned about integers. I think that's what it's called, right? Integers. Um, and 0 is not a negative nor a positive. It is just 0. It's not -0. It's just 0. Um, I thought that funny. Anyway, um, so they have to be in this ice bath for 1 to 3 minutes. Chrishell says, "If I do this, you have to go back to the office." And Bray's like, "I don't know, man." But Chrishell did not last the 3 minutes. She didn't even last a minute. She lasted for 45 seconds. And she's like, "I'm good." And she goes into the hot tub. Bree's just chilling in that ice bath, being like, whatever. And she's like, "I'm a cold-hearted person, so whatever." I love her. They do, I think Bree, when she gets into the hot tub, Gracie comes over and gives Bree kisses. That's so sweet. Um, I love that dog. They talk about Chelsea, and Bree would give her the chance, but she is not holding her breath on that. And I think even then, like, she'll kind of give her the chance to be cordial, but I don't think Bree has any intention of allowing Chelsea into her life, because when she did in the last season, it again just came back to bite her. So I wouldn't blame her. Like, why would I bring that negativity into my life because you have to constantly talk about my relationship dynamic with a man that has nothing to do with you? Like, Nick's not over here having kids with you. So what does it matter? You know what I mean? I mean, maybe he would. He probably would. But you're not, so let it go. Like, it's not your problem. So she just doesn't like fakeness or fake people. So, and I'm with her. I don't either. Like, there's nothing worse than someone being fake with you. But that's basically that. We are back in the office, And Jason tells Alanna, because he hasn't told her yet that she did not get to the listing. He said, it's nothing that you did. You didn't do anything bad. You did a really great job. But of course, like, Chelsea lives in Manhattan Beach, so you were never gonna get it. No, you were never gonna get that. And then with Mary, they really liked Mary as well because she had lived in Manhattan Beach. She came off very professional. It was really nothing that Alanna did. She just didn't get it. That's all. But Alanna takes it really well, and she's like, I didn't necessarily think I was gonna get it, but of course I wanted to put myself out there. She wanted probably the experience of just doing a pitch, and you know, she's very she has a very positive outlook, and I like that. So in this case though, Brett kind of says, you know what though, Alanna, I have a project that he's working as. It does a lot more of the construction aspect of things, as we know. And he's like, I have a project that's going on right now. You know, maybe you can hop on over to the house, and we can see maybe if you can sell that house. So we'll see. Or we'll see. It's not done yet. We do see the house. I think it's in this episode, but um, it's not done yet. But we'll talk about it when we get over there. So Chelsea and Emma are going to a house as always, and Emma asks how it's working with Mary. And of course, Chelsea's like, I could have done this by myself, because of course she doesn't want to. None of them want to do a co-list. No real estate agent wants to do a co-listing, but Emma thinks Mary might be going through something. Like maybe that's why she said it. Well, of course, we know Mary's been going through a lot with her fertility journey with Romaine. That's a lot. Coming from a person who's currently in that right now. The fertility journey is a really, really long, strenuous, stressful journey. So that alone is a lot. So yeah, she definitely could be going through something. Um, and I'm not sure if it happened. Well, no, it would have happened last season. Let's not forget, trigger warning for pregnancy loss, but she had a miscarriage in the last season. That is a lot for somebody when, so yes, Emma, she has been going through something. Um, Now that's no excuse, but, you know, yes, she has been going through something. Um, and then, they were kinda, I guess, when they were leaving, Chelsea had placed her bag, I think it was the Birkin, on the ledge, probably the Birkin she got from her husband, and, and said, "Oh my god, my Birkin!" So she had to go back and get her Birkin, because you cannot leave your Birkin behind. No, no, no. Anyway, Alanna. So I didn't write this part down. When Brett was talking to Alanna about going to the development project, he had mentioned, where the practical shoe wear, because you're going to a construction site. And Alana's like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, I have practical shoes. And she's like, could I wear like sneakers in the office? And they're like, no. So I figured for once we're going to see one of these women go into a development project with the proper footwear. No. No, what was I thinking? She did not come in with the proper footwear. She came in stilettos, because why not? So, um, but Brett, after they kind of toured the house and everything, he's putting her in charge of the landscaping with respect to the privacy, because there is no privacy currently in this house. Like, you can see, like, your neighbors are just down the street there. You can literally see to the street. So if you can see the street, chances are the people on the street could see you in your master bedroom, coming out of your bathroom, out the shower, So he's leaving her in charge of doing the landscaping to help with the privacy aspect of things. So we'll see how she does with that. And then we are at Mary and Chelsea's Brokers Open, and this is where the fun really begins. Because to start off everything, Chelsea is not there. And it hasn't started yet. But Mary does call her and is like, okay, like I'm here, I'm doing stuff, just wondering when you're gonna show up. She doesn't show up. Nicole comes before even she does, dressed as if she's going to an award show, not a Brokers Open, but whatever. She's at least on time, Mary says, so there's that. And Alanna comes and she's like, where's Chelsea? Everyone who shows up before Chelsea, because everyone, including the brokers attending said Brokers Open, is here before Chelsea. And everyone is saying, where's Chelsea? I'm surprised that Jason and Brett, because they're there, didn't question why Chelsea wasn't there personally. But um, as a joke, Mary says, oh, she got stuck in traffic from next door because she lives in Manhattan Beach. Like, I don't know how big Manhattan Beach is. I've never been to California, but I would imagine it's not that bad that she can't get there. Like, I don't think she's far from this house. So, anyway, but it's begun. As I've mentioned, Chelsea is still not there. Bree is here as well. And she's like, listen, I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. No one's going to be fucking with my money. She's not going to allow that to happen. Obviously, Jason's really happy to see her. And oh, look, now here comes Chelsea at her own Brokers Open. And what she has chosen to wear is a choice that she made and she's happy with. But it literally, for those people who didn't watch the episode, it literally is like a blazer tied with like a tie. That's it. My girl is not wearing a pant in sight, a skirt in sight, nothing. It's literally like blazer around her. And that's what she's wearing. And I think it was Bree and Alanna, because they did meet each other. And I think it was Bree who's like, is her ass out? And they're like, I think her coochie's out. Like, this thing is short. Now, I know Chelsea has this sense of fashion. I understand. And I'm not coming at her sense of fashion, but I'm on Mary's side. I'm on pretty much everyone else's side here. That's like, you're at a Brokers Open. You're not around people you're usually around all the time. You're not in the office. You know, you are at a Brokers Open and you come dressed like that. And I'm going a little bit ahead here, but she kind of will say that were complimenting her outfit and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, the people you work with, are the people who are telling you that your outfit looks fine. I would love to know who else told you that, because that's a lot. There's a little, just someone blows and you'll see everything, you know? Like, I just don't understand why she had to wear that at the Brokers Open. I'm not surprised that she wore it at all, but I just don't understand why she had to wear it at a Brokers Open. You know, we've seen many Brokers Opens on this show. I've seen Brokers Opens in other shows. That's just not how people dress. You know, so it's not the right decision. Like, seriously, what took you so long to get there? Because you're wearing a shirt. You're wearing a shirt. Like, you're wearing a shirt. So what took you so long to throw a shirt on? Like, come on. And I wouldn't choose to wear that. I wouldn't choose to wear that at any point in my life, personally, but that's me. I'm not saying that on her. But I just definitely wouldn't wear something like that. Like, it's like you're going to a work function. Would you wear that at at your job, at your everyday job? No. So why are you doing this here? Like, there's like no one's like she's not taking this seriously. She says she wants she's like, I know the values. Well, I'm not gonna go ahead. We'll get to it. Um, so yeah, this is where Alana goes over and meets Bree. And Bree's like, how do you like it so far? She's like, oh yeah, everyone's really great, whatever. She's like, oh, so no one's come for you yet. Great. So it's here we find out as well that Alana, and I think her family, owns a town called Pioneer Town that's not for sale currently. But of course, to add more insult to injury, Chelsea is just messing around. She's not taking this brokers open seriously. Like, you should be offering people tours of this house. That's what you should be doing, mingling with everybody. That's what you should be doing. Instead, she's messing around. She was doing initially, but then she messes around with Emma and Chrishell and goes on this what's called a mocky or whatever the hell. So it's just a vehicle of some sort, you know? And she's going on that instead of actually doing the job at hand. Like, she's not taking this at all seriously. And Alana, I mean, Alana isn't like the stylish person that everyone else is. Um, but she says, "What's the dress code?" And I think it was Mary's like, "I know exactly why you're asking that question." Um, but at this point, and I don't know if this was the right choice either. I feel like Mary should have talked to Chelsea first about her choice of wardrobe for the occasion. And if it didn't go well, like if it backfired on her, then go to Jason and Brett. I just don't think like her first decision should have been let me go talk to the guys first. It doesn't feel right. Now, the other things that Chelsea says here in a minute, I also was like, okay, that's a stretch, my girl, but we'll get to it. She goes to Brett and Jason and says, listen, like, first of all, she was an hour late. Um, and she's also complaining about what she's wearing, saying that other brokers, or sorry, not brokers, they say the agents have also been complaining, I guess, about the thing that she's wearing. And the guys are like, well, first of all, I feel uncomfortable addressing that with her. Like, do you want to do it? Because they're 40-something-year-old men going to go to a 30-something-year-old girl and say, so the dress is a little short. Like, it's not a great look. Um, so they feel a little uncomfortable doing that. But Mary doesn't want to. Mary doesn't want to have that conversation because she, doesn't feel comfortable having the conversation with Chelsea, but then also there's that tension, right? So while this is kind of happening, though, Chelsea is going back and forth between Jason, Brett, Mary, and going off somewhere else. But then she's clearly watching this interaction and she probably knows she's being talked about right now. So, but I am curious as to why she thought that. Is it because you were late? And at the very least, like, I don't think she thinks the outfit's the issue initially, but she probably knows me being late was part of the issue, you know? Um, and, me not being 100% present in this broker's open is probably a part of the problem as well. She knows that she's not her 100% at this moment, which is why she's watching this interaction. She eventually goes over though, and Mary ends up telling her about the outfit choice. And Chelsea obviously takes offense. And she's like, the fact that you're telling our bosses, these men, about what I'm wearing, I think that's a stretch. Like I said, I understand what she's saying. And maybe I would understand that in any other situation. But Jason and Brett are not, like, 2 men that you need to worry about or something like that, like, I they don't give me, like, ick vibes, even though they date women who are, like, 20 years their junior, but that's besides the point. Um, but I don't get the ick factor from these guys in that sense. So I feel like that was a stretch for Chelsea, but whatever. I still understand what she's saying. But the biggest part that I understand here that I agree with her on is you could have just come to me first and said something to me first, and we could have addressed it there. Like, you and right off the bat go and talk to Jason and Brett. And I agree with her. Like I said already, I think she should have went to Chelsea right off the bat, talk to her about it. And if it backfired, then so be it. Then you can go to Jason and Brett because you've done your due diligence. But you didn't do that. And the other parts though that Chelsea says here that I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Is because she feels like she's being attacked for what she's wearing, she's now going to attack Mary. So you have an issue with Mary talking to Brett and Jason about your wardrobe choice, but then you're going to do the thing that women should not do and attack Mary's choices in what she wears. But let's be very real here. Mary does not dress like you, Chelsea. So talking about her tits being out, everyone's tits are out at some point. You know what I mean? Sometimes I wear a shirt that my tits are out in, you know, and if you got tits, whatever, and that's not a big deal. And it's not like this crazy outlandish thing. Mary's choices in what she wears is very different than Chelsea's, but that's not what she's saying. It's not about your tits. And I think she thinks it's about her tits being out. Your tits being out is not the problem. I mean, I do think there's still a happy medium with how much your tits are out, but the tits aren't the issue. It's if you bend over, your ass is out. That's the problem. And I think that's like when she's on this like mocky thing, I'm like, she's lying down on like the top of it. And I'm just like, one lick of the wind and her ass is out. And she maybe doesn't care about that, and that's fine. But when you're doing something like this, like, girl, wear pants. I don't think that's like a crazy thing to request. I don't think this thing that she's wearing today is meant to be a dress. I think she has made it a dress, but it's not a dress. You can do that when not doing a broker's open. Go do that at the club. Go do that in outings with your friends, whatever. You don't have to do it at a broker's open. So she's mixing up what the issue is here, but she's also attacking Mary and the choices she does at the same time. And it's like, she doesn't dress like that, you know? And she also then says to Mary, well, then I don't want to see your tits out anymore. So it's like, I can have my tits out. Your tits are not the issue. Sorry, no offense. Like, I don't want to talk about women's bodies, but sweetheart, your tits are not the issue. Okay? I think her tits were fairly covered. It was, yeah, ass. I just, I don't know, man. It wasn't a great choice, the whole thing. Mary didn't go about it the right way. Chelsea didn't handle it either. And like she literally says, like, I think she calls Mary a bitch, or she says, like, fuck you, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what she said when she walks off. But it's just like, you, you know, I think deep down, she knew that there was an issue, whether she thought it was the wardrobe or whatever else. She knows there was an issue as she was like hovering around them like a shark, smelling blood. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's it for episode 2. We're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we will jump in with episode 3. And and I am back to do the final episode for this episode, which is episode 3, called Cats Out of the Bucket Bag. So no one has RSVP to Amanza's birthday yet, so she's kind of, you know, what's going on here? But, um, the Chrishell ends up taking a picture of Chelsea and Emma, and she accidentally flashes them while she does so. And Jason, Jason, why would you do this? Jason is like, you want to do that again, but like maybe face this direction? He literally says that to his ex-girlfriend. Whoa. And he says it like more than once. It wasn't like a one-time thing. He said it more than once. Like they're friends, it's fine, whatever. But he's also her ex-boyfriend who has seen her naked before. Many times, I'm sure. So, yikes. Not a good look. Oh, okay. But, so now it's team meeting time. And apparently we were working with Orlando Bloom on a house that he wanted to sell that he either flipped or so. I don't know what he did, but we couldn't get him to do like a cameo or something. Something. It's Orlando Bloom. Put his beautiful face on the show. But I digress. So Jason will not ring that bell though because he refuses. He says that he will ring the bell if he sells a house over 40 million. And then Chrishell has to come back with a little dig and says, "How about if you date someone over 40?" Didn't he date you? Technically, he already did that. So anyway, Chrishell then pulls Amanza aside to talk to her about her birthday, mainly to ask her if a certain person who we don't get a name of is going to be at her birthday party. And it's this stylist guy that I guess Amanza knows and works with and she's known for some time. But Chrishell literally says, and this is interesting, Chrishell says that this person has basically like gay shamed her or no, but the term she used, sorry, that's not the incorrect term. She said homophobic. But Amanza says, but he's gay. So this is very interesting. I'm gonna have a couple different things I want to say here. But let's finish what happened. So I'm not sure exactly what precipitated this encounter, but apparently this guy who we don't have a name for, um, said some things about Chrishell and G's relationship, saying things around the lines of Chrishell's a fake lesbian, um, G's only with her for a green card. I mean, my guy, she's from Australia, calm down. Third, saying that Chrishell just needs some dick in her hole. Now, this is all really disgusting things to say to somebody. Here's what I'll say. This guy being a part of the LGBTQ plus community does not mean that he isn't ignorant and won't say ignorant things about another person's relationship within that community. And like, I just, I have no words for this ignorance. And here, was it confusing initially, Chrishell potentially being involved with G when I think the main confusion was about the fact that she was so adamant that she wanted to have kids, and she's with not only sex-wise, not a male, um, and who was much younger than she was. That was confusing. But we're long past that at this point. I think G is amazing for her, and I think it's exactly what she needed, after the marriage falling apart and after her relationship with Jason falling apart. I think this is exactly what she needed. She's right where she needs to be. And saying she's a fake lesbian, I mean, why? Because she's only ever been with men prior to G? Is that why? I mean, don't we all start off somewhere? Like, even if, like, you're a heterosexual person, so am I supposed to base that on the fact that I sleep with men or whatever? Like, everyone goes through journeys. People may have exclusively ever only been with opposite sex, but then one day they get a taste of the same sex and they're like, oh, where's this been all my life? Like, everyone goes through that journey, and that's something that she explored, she went through while being with G. So saying she's a fake lesbian is so ignorant, and I think also just very judgmental. Um, and I think there was a reason why this actually, I don't think that was the reason why this happened. I think he just is coming for Chrishell. For what reason? Maybe because there was um tension between Amanza and her, and he thinks he's coming to her defense. But there's ways to come to Amanza's defense than to bring Chrishell down in that way. Like, it just, I don't even think Amanza would have wanted anything like that to happen. And we'll kind of get to Amanza and her reaction to it in a second. Secondly, G potentially being with her because they're looking for a green card is just like, what are you talking about? I don't know. Like, G was going back and forth between Australia and the States. Clearly, they were doing that prior to being with Chrishell, anyways. So, like, that's such a. You're watching too much 90 Day Fiance, I guess, that you would honestly go right to thinking that G's just with Chrishell for a green card. I think they can figure that out on their own. They didn't need Chrishell for that. And third, saying something like she needs a dick in her hole, and I'm assuming, I'm hoping he's not going to mispronounce G, but I'm going to assume he means Chrishell in that. Um, why? There are other ways to achieve satisfaction than just having a dick in your hole. You know what I mean? And maybe he doesn't understand that because he's a gay man. But women's anatomy, honestly, for women out there who know how our anatomies work, honestly, a dick is not required to achieve satisfaction. So it's just like, but again, the main reason for this is, why say it at all? And I think when it comes to their sex life, she seems quite satisfied with it. So I just don't understand, like, where this is coming from, which makes me think like this is probably because of the discomfort between Amanza and Chrishell. But again, there is a way to defend Amanza in that, as her being your friend, than to come at Chrishell in this way. And coming from a person who is supposed to be a part of the community is really sickening. But I think, again, it's like, with with the whole community of people. I'm not talking about just LGBTQ. I'm talking everybody. Everybody. We're told that we are supposed to accept everybody, and you should, 100%. At the end of the day, we're all human, and we should be respected for all of that. But the main thing is that I find, so I just never understand, is the ignorance within the own LGBTQ plus community of, not everyone is accepted. Transgender people have gone through the the issues of being accepted into their own community. And now, like, I don't think G is transgender. I think G is non-binary. So I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I'm just speaking out of my ass at this point. I don't know if this is how it is. So I'm just kind of speaking from a cis woman's perspective, a cis heterosexual woman's perspective. Um, but I feel like, or I think that non-binary people are having to deal with a lot of issues being accepted within their community. So I do wonder if this person is coming for Chrishell in a way that he knows will hit a button. And maybe there's also this part of that he doesn't really care for G, just for the general fact of they're just non-binary. I don't get that, you know? Um, and I think the main thing being is I think this person probably knows that G is a hot button for Chrishell. So if you come at G in a way that is mispronouncing them, especially, and you're doing it ignorantly, even if being corrected, then she does not take that lightly. So I think that's why this person knows, like, this is how I can get at her, and that's sick. And when they're talking about it, Amanza's like, "Well, I didn't know about that," or he said one thing, and Chrishell's like, "I have everything in black and white. Do you wanna see it? I'll show you." And Amanza says, "Yeah, show me. I wanna see it." And she's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll show you." Like, she has no issue showing her the proof of this is what happened. Like, I am not making this up. Um, and I don't think Chrishell would make that up for her health. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would she do that? I think she, she's telling the truth here. And, I think Amanza is in a weird situation of, like, these are, this is my friend, Chrishell. I'm trying, she's was one of my closest friends, and I'm trying to mend that fence. So she's in this weird place right now with what do I do? But Chrishell sets a hard line, which I think I would do the same. I would not come back from that. And she says, I will not be at the party if this person is at the party. And I think that is an understandable place to be, because it's like, how can I trust that I'm going to be in a safe space with a person who doesn't make me feel safe? And it has nothing to do with Amanza. And I think, like, she doesn't stress it very much in this moment, but she does a little later. But I did feel, even in this moment, even if she didn't stress it, that this has nothing to do with Amanza, but it has everything to do with this person that Amanza associates with. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, but that's unfortunate. Um, so Bree is at another house that she tripped getting into. Then this house is for a person that she was on a podcast with. Their bi-coastal, and they want to take their podcast bi-coastal. And it's like a sex podcast, and she was on it. And this house, like, I'm sorry, was this curated for the person who talks about sex on her podcast? Because my goodness, the wallpaper is like people doing sex positions. It looks like Kama Sutra in the bathroom. And then they go to this other part of, I think it's the bedroom, that has a book of, like, sex stuff. I mean, I'll say this. I mean, I don't think necessarily Brie could have curated the wallpaper necessarily, but I definitely think she put that book in that bedroom. I do. I 1,000% think she did, because she went to quote unquote explore the house before her client got there. Brie, I see you. But this book is like a book of, like, I've definitely seen this book before. I don't own it, but I have seen this book before, or heard of it, that has, like, art that can be suggestive of genitalia. So But I definitely think that was placed there strategically. I see you, Brie. But after she does that, she gets a phone call from a friend of hers that we will see in a little bit out like a little at the end of the episode that says, I have some piping hot tea that can't be said over the phone. So they're going to meet up with each other later to discuss that piping hot tea. Now, I don't know if anyone was like me thinking, oh, are people talking about Brie? And that's what she's hearing. That's not what happens. And we will talk about it at the end. So we got Chrishell, Emma, and Chelsea. And then we're talking more shit about Mary. And don't you worry, we also have Mary and Nicole, who are also going to be talking more shit about Chelsea. So we're going to kind of be going back and forth a little bit between the two of them. So they kind of say, reputation is everything with respect to the wardrobe choice that Chelsea had at the Brokers Open. And Nicole kind of says, listen, reputation equals money in my bank account. So, like reputation obviously is very important for them. Don't mess with the bank account. So that's kind of basically it, which again, I understand all of that. Like if you want to do that on your own house, go for it because that's your reputation, that's your thing. But don't do that and tie it to me as well. Like that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. Anywho's, it's Amanza's birthday. We're gonna be spending some time here at Amanza's birthday. Um, she has like these hot pictures of herself like everywhere. And we also have people from OC here as well. We have Gio and his wife is there. And we have Jarvis and Kayla. And Chrishell did make it because the stylist person is not going to be there. So I don't know if Amanda saw those messages and it just kind of turned her off and she didn't appreciate that. And maybe, like, I don't know, maybe that friendship is not doing so hot. I don't know. Or maybe he decided not to go. I don't know. But I feel like I don't know the guy. You haven't seen him before. But I feel like you don't miss an opportunity to be at a party, especially if that party is your friend. So I feel like something might have happened. I don't know. But Bree will also not be going. She's like, stay at home and take a nap and cuddle with my boy and go back and have another nap. So it's a lot better than being in a group setting with these people, and she doesn't want to do that. I don't blame her. So she's like, but I love you, Amanza. So then Emma and Chelsea are going through Jason's phone to see if maybe he has a dick pic on his phone. Why would you want to do that? And they're like, who's this girl? And he's like, what why are you going through my phone? like, like, what would you then do with the information with, like, if you were to see, like, what's the drive with seeing whether or not your boss has a decent sized penis or not, I feel like he does. These short kings, let me tell you something. They're packing. But like, yeah, like what do you expect to get from that, I guess? I don't know. Like, I don't know. It feels like this weird kink with Chrishell. That's what it feels like to me. Like, I like Emma. Chelsea, I can take or leave, whatever. And I like Rochelle. But it feels like this weird, like, kink. Like, it feels like it has something to do with Chrishell in their mind, even though they won't say that out loud. Like, it's a weird thing. I don't know. It's so weird. And I'm not out here going through my boss's phone to see whether or not he has. No. Mm-mm. No, thank you. But, then here comes Amanza wearing this crazy, sexy ass dress that basically makes her look like she is completely naked. Like it's whoa. Um, but she is 47, y'all. She looks absolutely incredible. Listen, bad don't crack. She looks absolutely incredible. And we kind of get more details. Like, I don't think we never really got the full rundown of what was going on with her health wise. And I don't think we necessarily need to know all of the details. It's not our business to know everything that happened with her. But what she does say here, though, is that she almost died. She had to get 2 spinal surgeries, and in her 2nd spinal surgery, she lost a lot of blood and was basically told by the surgeons, the doctors, whoever, or one and the same, that she basically had 48 hours to live. She says, like, I got a very emotional hearing her talk about this, but she says, like, all you can think about is your kids in that moment. And in particular for her, she can really only think about her kids in that moment. She doesn't have a lot of people around her, rallying around her. Their father has been missing in action since we've met her, um, on this show, and whoever she had left in her family is just not really around. I think the one person that she had was her stepfather, and he's passed away now. So it's just like she doesn't really have anyone in her corner, especially that being family in her corner that she would feel comfortable with her kids being with. And that's really sad. And she's like, I'm gonna have to, like, what, leave them alone in this world to just figure it out. And I'm sure that gave her the fight that she needed to stay alive. And she did. And I, I she's an incredible person, really and truly. So it's just, yeah. And so I'm happy that she's okay and that she's here, and So we do see Jason give her a new listing agreement that she didn't know it was a listing agreement. She's like, have I been out of the game that long that I don't remember what a listing agreement looks like? Um, but the cake looked so good. But Chrishell and Amanza definitely make up in this moment, because I think the speech that Amanza gave of life is too short really kind of helped Chrishell just be like, this is nonsense. Let's cut this out. Like they were so close, and I think they really want to get back to that. So yeah, which is great. Nicole is loving life right at this moment. She wants to dance with Jason. She wants to do the dirty dancing lift with Jason. She always wanted to do that. She didn't expect herself to be Patrick Swayze in that though. So yeah, but she's drunk. It's basically what's going on here. She's like, I don't know where my phone is. Oh, there it is. But Mary wants to go up to Chelsea to see if everything is okay. She kind of gets Chrishell's advice on that, and Chrishell's like, I think that'd be a really great idea. I don't. I don't think that's a great idea. And I'll tell you why I don't think that's a good idea, as we will talk about here. Because I'll say here, Chelsea's not a person that can let things go, that can move on. She's the person who thinks that I'm right and I'm always going to be right. So with that being said, like, I have nothing to change. That's who Chelsea is. So she does go up to her though, and she says, I just want to make sure everything is cool and everything's fine. If it's not, then let's talk about it. Like, I just want to hash this out. And Chelsea says, well, I mean, you said I was a shit stirrer, and like you attacked my outfit at the broker's open. She's like, I felt like you like never wanted anything to like do with me. She felt like, and again, I don't know where this is coming from, because she's never said that before. But she feels like Mary never liked her, and that Mary has always kind of been gunning for her. I don't know if Mary's ever really been gunning for anybody. I mean, I think Mary kind of just does her own thing. I do think Mary questioned Jason's and Brett's decision to include her in the O group, but I think we're long past that now. So it's just like, I don't know what Chelsea's talking about. But it kind of just goes off the hinges. Romaine kind of gets involved, which, somehow we're going to blame Mary for Romain getting involved. Well, I think if Romain thinks that his wife is potentially in danger, girl, kind of situation, that he is going to come to her rescue. That's just who Romain is. He loves his wife. He's just going to be there to support her, and be her person in that moment. And here's what I'll say. I don't think Chelsea necessarily has an issue with Romain stepping in on his wife's defense. I think she has a jealousy issue that her own husband won't do that for her. We'll talk about that in a minute. But where is your husband? Where is he? Maybe busy doing something else that he shouldn't be? We'll be talking about that in just a second. But it's just like, I feel like that's what it comes down to. I think the problem is that Chelsea probably gets really jealous about people's situations and jealous that she can't have that herself. So what she does is she portrays herself in this way that is so like I'm better than everybody, even if she's not necessarily like I think she's trying to make herself look better than she actually is when really her house is on fire. So that's what I think um kind of what she kind of does. And of course, hindsight is 2020, and we kind of know what's going on here with her within her home, but it's or in terms of that the marriage has fallen apart. But it's just, I think that's kind of what it comes down to because she's like getting mad that Romain's getting involved and you need a bodyguard and your husband to defend you. And it's like, no, she doesn't. He just came out of nowhere. Like she was talking to Chrishell and came over to you. Romain followed. That's what Romain does. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, but she kind of walks away from the conversation saying that Mary's full of shit. Um, and maybe, I think at the end of the day, Mary needs to apologize for what she said, but I also think Chelsea needs to apologize for how she came at it. There's ways to come at a person and say, why in the hell are you talking about me? Than to literally say, I'm going to fuck you up. That's basically what she said to her in that text message. That's not great. So both of these people need to apologize, call a truce, and move on. But both parties need to realize their error in this. And I don't know. I think Mary has the capabilities of doing that, but I think also Mary is sometimes a little clueless of what's going on. Um and doesn't quite understand it from all perspectives. But I think if Chelsea came at her and said that to her and actually make it make sense, then I think Mary can go there and she can apologize for her part. But if Chelsea's not going to do that and also can't apologize for her part, we're getting nowhere. Like this is stupid. But that's basically it for that. We have one more scene. One more scene in this episode. We're with Bree, and she's meeting up with her friend Amanda. Amanda being the one who called her earlier. We got dramas that we need to talk about. So Amanda says, I heard something that could be damaging about Chelsea's husband. It's like, I didn't see it with my own two eyes, but I was told this by someone who I'm very close with, who I trust, and they told me, or he told me, about what happened here. And I have the text proof of the conversation. So we do see the text proof as we're learning about what has happened. So she's like, this guy was in the lobby of a hotel where he saw Jeff, Chelsea's husband, with another woman making out with this woman in the lobby of the hotel. Are you kidding me? Are you so stupid, my guy, that you're going to make out with another woman in public? That just goes to show you have no respect for your marriage, for your wife, for your kids, that you're going to do that. Like, how men are stay stupid. Like, it's just so ridiculous to me that this guy, like, I didn't know all of that. I mean, I can't remember if I mentioned that that was part of the issue, Um, that infidelity was part of the problem. I don't remember when I discussed this earlier about them getting divorced, but I didn't know it was like that. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? Um, he's like, maybe this guy who saw the whole thing's like, maybe I should have taken a picture. Yeah, my guy, you should have taken a picture. Instead of texting Amanda, you take that damn picture of this or a video, do whatever you need to do. And then you send it and say, look what I just saw. Like, that's Chelsea's husband, right? Like, you know what I mean? We love the text proof. Thank you very much. We love that. Thank you for your hard work, but we also want a video and potentially a picture if you can't do the video, you know? But Brie makes a good point here. I think, again, as women, we know this feeling of women's intuition. We know something is wrong. And Brie says, like, there's no way that Chelsea doesn't have an idea that something is up. But Brie also makes another astute observation that maybe that Birkin bag that Jeff bought her for her 30th birthday was not so much a birthday gift, but maybe a peace offering for the fuck shit that he's doing behind her back. So Brie is like, do I tell her or do I let karma run its course? Because the thing is like she's obviously not close with Chelsea, that she can go to Chelsea and say, I just found out something about your husband I think you need to know. Like, they're not like that. And on the other hand, too, Bree's like, well, she's throwing stones at my house, but yet her house is legitimately on fire. She needs to put some water on it. So, like, there's also that part of it as well. But the thing is, this is why I love Bree, that despite the fact that she does not like Chelsea and wants nothing to do with Chelsea, she literally says, at the end of the day, if I was in that position, I'd want to know. So I think, like, I need to tell her. Here's what I think. That's pretty much the end of the episode. Here's what I think Brie needs to do. Brie needs to go to Chrishell first and talk to Chrishell about how to approach this. Because I think and my girl Amanda, hi, honey. Thank you so much for everything you've done here. You need to send those text messages to Brie. And Brie needs to take that to Chrishell and be like, I don't know how to handle this, but I think she needs to know. And even if Chrishell isn't the one to deliver the bad news, I do think that Chrishell needs to be there when Brie does. That's what I think you need to do. Because they're close, and Chrishell's close with Brie. So I think, like, that's what you need to do. Like, Chrishell will be like the happy medium between the two of them. But we'll see. I haven't seen the other episodes, so maybe that's how it works. That's what I would do. But that is it for the first episode for Selling Sunset. We will have the other episodes coming, but of course, Golden Bachelorette's going to be next. Then we'll go through the 90 days, and then we will get back to doing more Selling Sunset. But that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realitytimes2, all spelled out, dot podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Week Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks.